the currency is a matter that has been of immense interest to the president. And there are two sides to it. There's what the central bank does, which is the day-to-day management of the currency. And then there's a broader economic management, which deals with doing a lot more trade outside our borders to get our balance of trade positive, and consequently our balance of payments, our net international reserves positive, balance of payments positive. Why? So that we earn more dollar than we are spending. And that's how you substantively show up the currency. The currency.
Why have we not been able to do the balance of payment thing? Is it a closure of borders?
No. This year, for example, the moment government signals, so every year, you have what you call the reserves, your Forex reserves. We've got Forex reserves that give us close to about 5 months of import cover. That's about $9 billion sitting in the Bank of Ghana. We have enough dollar way beyond what we had even in previous years. But what happens is that every year, when government draws up its budget and gets to the financing part, government will indicate that we'll probably go to the Eurobond markets to raise about $3 billion for the financing, or $1 billion. President Kufuor's own was $750 million. That was the beginning. The moment that announcement is made, it signals to the market that in addition to about our $9 billion that is there, we're going to get an extra $3 billion coming in, usually in the first quarter. So there's going to be an inflow of a lot of dollars into the Ghanaian economy. That means that the dollar available on the trading market on a daily basis for people who are looking for dollar to go and import stuff to buy is even going to be in excess. So pressure on the currency evaporates. This year, what happened was that the finance minister signaled that because of COVID and because revenues were not coming, we had to borrow a lot of money. Consequently, our debt to GDP position, and debt to GDP is a measure of debt as against total productivity. And because the economy wasn't running, because people were at home, half-day work, social distancing, shifts, etc., productivity was low, the consequence is that GDP was low. So debt goes up, GDP comes down, your debt to GDP will go up. It doesn't mean they don't know how to manage the economy, economic management, they have lost it. It's people who are having a difficulty in these computations who are making some of these arguments. So your debt goes up, GDP comes down. Debt to GDP ratio will go up. So the finance minister signaled that I will therefore not be going to the international capital markets to borrow another $3 billion to come and add to the challenge that we have. We need to raise more domestic revenue, even as we are boosting productivity, so that we can pay back some of the borrowings we've done and rely less on borrowing this year. What that means is that the deficit will come down a bit to about 7.4. That's what we're trying to achieve. One of the things we need to do, for example, is the electronic transactions levy, which gives us some domestic revenue. The moment he signaled that, what it also told the market was that you are not going to get an additional $3 billion to come and add to your $9 billion. And so the flooding in of dollars may not be coming. And then speculation starts that, well, then it means that the dollar may come under pressure somewhere down the year when the trading goes on. And if you also look at your outpayment you have to do, 2 billion, 3 billion, even if you have 9 billion and you pay 3 billion, that's 6 billion left. So the currency speculators quickly begins to realize that, there may be some pressure somewhere down the line. So you know what, let me buy some dollar today and keep, so that when that pressure comes, I benefit. It also came at a time when the Bank of Ghana had lowered the reserve ratio of the central banks during COVID. Why? Because they said they wanted the banks to have some more liquidity to inject into the private sector. Their reading now is that a lot of that liquidity has gone into the hands of currency speculators, and therefore there's a lot of Cedi in the system now speculating and chasing the limited dollar in the system, especially at a time when new dollars are not coming. At the same time, the US Federal Reserve has increased interest rates for the first time in about 40 years. And you heard Joe Biden speaking about it, COVID. If you say every president who says COVID is lying, then it means Joe Biden is lying. Macron, everybody's a liar.
Boris Johnson.
Yeah. But the hard truth is that because of what has happened, rates are being jacked up, just like what our central bank has done. The moment you signal that, the capital market investors who would have otherwise brought their money into emerging markets, if you had opened your windows, they now even are getting some returns in America, so they are taking their money there. So eventually, you are not getting a crowd in of as much dollars at a time when speculation is rising and there's a lot of Cedi on the market. So pressure comes in. So the central bank, for example, has acted swiftly, jacking up the rates by 250 basis points to suck up or to mop up the excess liquidity of Cedi in the system, so that the pressure on the dollar goes down a little bit. And then at the same time, the central government has indicated that we are going to bring in between $1+ of some Forex to ensure that despite our not going to the international capital markets, we still get some injection of.
Where is the government going to get that money
The
from?
finance minister is the one working all of these ones. Let me not go ahead of him. He will outline how he's going to do it. It's just Thursday. He would outline how he's going to do it. You remember
Does he need
in
Parliament's
2017,
permission to do that, or is he just coming to announce to
it
Parliament?
depends on which instrument he chooses. In 2017, for example, when he did the Franklin Templeton transaction, it did not necessarily require parliamentary approval because of the currency in which it was done and the instruments that were used. There are various ways of doing this. So depending on which one he chooses to use, he may or may not have come to Parliament. But there are ways of doing this to ensure that we're able to get some extra USD. So the president, item number 3, took very clear decisions on the currency. And I think already today, if you watch the currency market, the markets are beginning to respond even to the hints of the measures that are coming in.